Hey guys, I've been doing a little work recently on the older style ESP chips, the ESP01 specifically. These were really popular a couple of years ago purely because of their price point, and they were significantly cheaper than anything else there at the moment for the speed you got and everything, so they were great. They were a bit finicky to work with though, and just recently I had to go and do some work on one again. You remember I've used these in the past with things like the LED light controller. I've got some of those in the kitchen, some in the garage also, which were great. And I've also used it in the past in the RS485 to Wi-Fi adapter. So I came to get my chips, and I had a new batch, and then came to program these up. I have a small, I'll have a few here. Got this one which I generally prefer, which is a CH340 based. I've got an FTDI based, and then this small little fella, which is yeah, that's the program inside. So I have two of these as well. I have a homemade board here, and then another board here. So I remember in the past that these were pretty finicky things to get working sometimes, but once you got the hang of it, once you got things configured up, it worked okay. In particular, you have to do with something like this, there's no auto reset. So you have to do reset, hold the programming button, release reset, and then release the programming. And then it's in program mode, and then from your software, you can and then program it up. So I remembered all this vaguely and then started doing it. And then ran into a problem. It would take a flash, do that, and then you would try to run it, and it just seemingly never starting, never getting running. And so I started looking into it more, and the chip was just panicking every single time it was starting. Yet when you were flashing it, it was fine. You're doing a verify, it was fine. So after much exhausting, and I'll just switch to the PC here, we generally use the Node MCU firmware programmer in the past that I've done, where you set the 3 bin files that you're going to use in the offsets. That's worked great in the past, but I moved on from that. I went to Expressive, have a ESP tool, so I used this tool, and just to confirm the flash, that was showing that they were 4 megabit modules on the chips for the flash. So it all looked fine, and compared to a good module, it looked identical, but they just refused to work. And looked through it more and more, and just couldn't get it to work. Now, if anyone else out there's had this issue and has resolved it, it'd be fantastic to hear. But I tried the ESP tool. I've also tried, I found a sketch which you can burn through the Arduino software, and the Arduino IDE, sorry, which makes it so that it's just blanks out the whole flash size. So you do it according to what flash size you've got. Tried that. I have tried a few of the ESP01 and a few other bits of software, but nothing I did on any of it would work. I tried downloading the flash from a working module that I had, another one, and then doing that as a binary dump onto the module, and it just absolutely refused to work. And the only thing I did find out there was something which states that if pin 8 or 9 have accidentally been set, is to be used, those are connected to the flash module, and then you can end up with it in a never-ending loop, which you are going to be able to get around by raising the flash to the certain blocking memory, but it refused to work. So in the end, what I had to do was, I was very fortunate, I had them sitting around, was replace the memory chips. Now, I bought these primarily because I was thinking about doing over-the-air updates on the chips, and with the amount of memory that you have here, it's just not possible. So what you need is a 32 megabyte or a megabit or 4 meg flash size, which gives you more than enough room there to have a bootloader and everything else in there. So that's what I had to end up doing. So just to prove a point, if I get this little guy and I'll plug him in there, you can see the lights come on there. If I just switch to the computer, do reset program, release reset, release program, and you'll see there it goes off. Now, as part of the programming as well, I've tried all different offsets, and it's when you start second guessing yourself and everything and start going around big circles, and it was just absolutely refusing to work. So what we're going to do is we've programmed them up there, and then I've got the Arduino IDE running, and if I open up the serial monitor, I'm still going to use him. I'm just going to hit the reset button. Okay, so we don't get anything there, and sadly that's a bad thing, because that means if I drop the baud rate to 74880, and there you go, check some error. I've Googled till the cows come home, I've looked and seen what other issues people had. There's lots of things out there about reliable power. I had a friend suggest trying it just on a power bank. I've tried that. The unfortunate things when you start doing things, hooking the power separate, is that you don't get the serial monitor output that we've got here. So we can see that error, so you're kind of just hoping, you're not sure if it's starting. So in the end, the solution I had to come up with, as I mentioned, was to replace the chip. So I'm going to try this on camera, and this could go all horribly wrong. I've got a hot air gun station here, so I'll just unplug him. I'm going to get some tweezers ready. I'll try and get in as close as I can. And basically this is the flash chip here that we need to remove. So apologies for the thing. I'm not sure how this is going to work with the heat gun. Could be interesting, but we'll give it a try. Okay. So I've got a fine nozzle on here, and I'm just going to move it back and forth and try and not apply too much heat to one particular area. And then you should find that it doesn't take too much heat. Apologies if I'm hitting the microphone at all, it's quite difficult trying to do this on the camera. Okay, so that's one side. Okay, that's the two sides have gone. I'm just going to put the heat gun to one side. Place the chip there. Right, I'll get us a replacement chip. I've left the heat gun going, so apologies when you hear the noise. I'll just get a replacement chip. Full anti-static precautionary measures being taken on it. Okay, so pin 1 points down on the board, and I'm just going to flatten this arm out a little bit. And I found if you just get this roughly in place, and then what we're going to kind of do is just do a bit of a reflow. There should already be some residual heat in the board, so it shouldn't take too much there. They're good for a price point. They're quite small, but the I/O options are limited, if I'm honest. And programming them is a giant pain, I've got to say. So that should be more than enough there. I'm just gonna turn everything off there. Now I'm gonna have to let that cool down a little bit. While we're letting that chip cool down, I have brought up here, and just to kind of labour the point these days, how I just don't really feel it necessary. Looking at AliExpress, this is the cheapest ESP01 I can find. So that's £1.28. But in addition to using these, paying for that chip, you are going to have to purchase an adapter. So either the CH340 based adapter or the FTDI based adapter. And then after that, you are then going to need a program module like there, or purchase one of these here. Obviously those are one-off purchases, so you can reuse them time again. But you still got to factor it in, and especially if you're getting new into the ESPs and just starting to use them, I just don't think it's worth it, because if I flip to the next tab, you can pick up a Wemos D1 Mini. It's 186, but with postage, and this is one of the cheapest that I could find. Maybe cheaper ones out there, but that's £2.3. So admittedly, if you're doing these things in bulk, that's another 70, 75p or something like that. So it would mount up, but for the average hobbyist user at home, I don't think it's really going to come to play that much. So yeah, that's why I kind of probably advise against these. I know there's a lot of people even moving on from the Wemos Node MCU style boards, and now just doing on the ESP32 because of the advantage they have in the speed. So if I check the temperature there, now, these are pretty good. Okay, so let's go back and program this up. So I'm just going to do reset program, release and reset. Apologies, got a squeaky chair here as well. If anyone can hear that noise coming through. If I switch back here, sorry. I'm just going to go through, and what I'll do is I'll get the Arduino ID ready. Okay, that's finished. Bring up a menu here. I'll do a reset on the chip, and there you go. You can see it's launching the chip, and everything's working a lot better than what it was. So yeah, so a bit of a video about nothing in a way. It's fairly niche. If someone happens to have an issue with ESP01 and you're pulling your hair out and you've exhausted all possibilities, that could be your issue. And it may be that your memory chip is faulty. I've read online that a lot of people have had the same issue. Some have resorted to changing memory chips as well. Some haven't, but it's very hard to determine when you're programming it up. It seems to take it. It can do a verify and everything like that. So if it helps one person at least, then that's been worth doing. So thanks for watching, guys. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye.